morning. My name is Mr. Kreider, and I would like to welcome all students and staff members to the 2015-2016 school year. Many of you recognize that this is my first year here at North Allegheny, and I would like to thank all students and teachers who have assisted in making my transition positive. This past summer, I had the opportunity to meet with many of you, and I'm continuously impressed with your level of enthusiasm, dedication, and pride you have in North Allegheny. Each year presents new opportunities for all of you to expand your academic capacity and to engage in new and exciting curriculum that will enrich your life and hopefully aligns with your future aspirations. We are all extremely proud of NASH, and collectively we strive to make it stronger. To accomplish this goal, we rely upon your ability to make good decisions and approach each day with a positive and enthusiastic attitude. Over the next few days, Mr. Young, Mr. Buchak, and I will review policies from the NASH Student Handbook and the North Allegheny Code of Conduct. These documents outline student expectations, summarize board policy, provide clarity for procedures, create a safe environment, and promote healthy environment for learning. First up is Mr. Young.
Good morning. I'm Mr. Young. Welcome back to school. The first topic we want to discuss this morning is NASH as a closed campus. Students must have permission to leave campus during school hours. Examples of permission to leave campus would be if you have an early dismissal, you have an early release, or if you're scheduled for an academic field trip. Students may not leave the building during the school day unless they are supervised by a teacher or have a principal's permission. Students must have a principal's permission to go to the student parking lot during the school day. During the school day, there are certain areas of the school that students need permission to be in. Unless scheduled for a phys ed class, students are prohibited from being in the phys ed locker rooms, phys ed hallways, or phys ed stairwells without the permission of a principal. Being in the student parking lot during the school day without permission from a principal is also prohibited. Loitering in the first floor student locker areas during lunch or during class time is also prohibited. A couple changes this year concerning cafeteria behavior. Students are to eat their lunch in the cafeteria. Students are not permitted to eat lunch outside, in the locker areas, hallways, or classrooms. Students are not permitted to leave the building or campus during lunch. The only exception would be, when weather permits, students may go outside directly in front of the cafeteria once they have finished eating. Students must stay in the cafeteria until the bell rings, ending their lunch period. Students are not permitted on the second or third floors at any time during their lunch period. Students must throw their trash away and return their plates, trays, and utensils when done eating. Theft of food at any time will result in a 5-day in-school suspension. Parking and driving regulations. Students are expected to read and understand all student parking and driving regulations that are listed in the student handbook on pages 9 and 10. Ignorance of the rules will not be an accepted excuse for parking driving violations. Parking and driving regulations will be strictly enforced at all times. Driving and parking on school property without a permit will result in a suspension from school, and it is possible that you could have your vehicle towed. Some common student parking violations that you want to avoid. Parking in the red zone or handicap spaces is prohibited. Driving behind the school building at the end of school to exit the school property is also a safety violation and is prohibited. Any left-hand turn leaving or entering the tennis court entrance or exit to or from Route 19 is also prohibited, and more importantly, it is dangerous and you could cause an accident. Repeated unexcused tardiness to school will result in students losing their parking driving privileges. In addition to these common violations, over the years, we have had students coming up Pine Creek Hill who make left-hand turns into businesses in order to avoid having to wait at the light. This has many times led to or almost led to an accident. Safety is our #1 concern. Please drive safely.
Good morning. My name is Mr. Buchak, and welcome back to school. And those who are new to our building, welcome to NASH. Today, or this portion, we'll be discussing the smoking tobacco policy. Smoking, chewing tobacco, or using any type of e-cigarette or vapor inhaling device is prohibited on school property and at all school-sponsored events. All violators will receive disciplinary action ranging between a 1 to 3 day suspension to the possibility of being fined at our local magistrate.
At NASH, we are extremely fortunate to have a host of technology at our fingertips. Technology enhances the learning environment. This policy applies to all district students who use district computers, computer networks, and internet facilities. Internet access, email, computers, technology, and network resources are available to students in the district for educational and instructional purposes and other purposes consistent with the educational mission of the district to facilitate learning. Access to and use of district computers, network, and information technologies are considered a privilege, not a right or an entitlement. Students should understand that this privilege may be restricted or revoked. Students are advised and should be aware that school files, such as email, files on thumb drives, and files on the network are not private. The district reserves the right to log, monitor, and review internet email and other network use of each user. Some basic rules of etiquette to keep in mind to protect yourself. Do not reveal personal information about yourself or others. Be polite and use appropriate language. Do not use the internet or email in a way that would harm or interfere with others' rights to access the curriculum. Using, sending, displaying, or disseminating offensive, abusive, or obscene language, files, photographs, images, or material through the district's computer and network systems. Bottom line, be respectful. Electronic devices are available to many students at NASH. Electronic devices can be used for good reasons, and they can also be used for bad reasons. Electronic devices shall include all devices that can take photographs, record audio or video, store, transmit, or receive material, or provide a wireless, unfiltered connection to the internet. Student-owned electronic devices generally include cell phones, portable pads, and computers, however can be expanded to include a larger range of devices. Students should be aware that the district is not liable for the loss, damage, or misuse of an electronic device brought to school by a student. Inappropriate use of these devices include, but is not limited to, the following examples: using the device during instructional time without a teacher's permission. Using the device in locker rooms is strictly prohibited. Using any application of an electronic device which is not directly relevant to the instruction in the classroom and authorized by the classroom teacher. Taking, storing, disseminating, transferring, viewing, or sharing of obscene, lewd, inappropriate, unauthorized, or otherwise illegal images or photographs, whether by electronic data transfer or other means, including but not limited to texting and emailing. Using any electronic device for purposes which are in direct violation of other provisions within the Code of Conduct, such as harassment, cyber harassment, cheating, or otherwise violating academic integrity.
Attendance. Absences and tardiness often have legitimate reasons and are sometimes unavoidable. When absences and tardiness begin to accumulate, they may adversely affect your academic performance. We strongly encourage daily attendance to enhance your academic and social development. When you are absent, please present a written excuse signed by your parent or guardian to your homeroom teacher. Written excuses are required upon your return to school or the following day. Homeroom teachers will issue you an admission slip by the second day after an excuse. If you do not submit a note from your parent or guardian within this time limit, the absence will be considered unexcused and you will be referred to the principal. There are authorized reasons for absences and tardiness. To begin, the first is illness, death in the immediate family, urgent personal reasons that are approved by the school administration, doctor or dentist appointments, or religious holidays. If you have questions referencing attendance, please see one of us in the office. Students with excessive absences and tardiness will be required to bring in a medical excuse. 18 days of absences and/or missed classes will result in a principal letter mailed home notifying your parents. Class attendance. You must attend all of your scheduled classes. Failure to report to a scheduled class is considered a class cut. If you are tardy to school, you must report to the attendance office immediately upon entering our school. Failure to report to the attendance office will be considered a class cut. Truancy. Any absence from school without a note from a parent is considered truancy. Students will receive a detention from each class missed, and a 0 will be issued for any graded work missed. Additional consequences for truancy: suspension, and also unlawful absences can be turned over to our local magistrate. For NASH students who are traveling to NAI, those students should be dismissed from their first period class at 8:07 in the morning, and then if they are attending period 9 at NAI, which is towards the end of our period 10 here, you should be dismissed at approximately 1:28 in the afternoon. Early dismissals. All early dismissal requests must include the following: the reason for the early dismissal, your student identification number, and a phone number to contact your parent. All early dismissals require us to contact your parent. You will not receive an early dismissal if we do not speak with your parent to verify your early dismissal. A green early dismissal pass will be written and given to you by our attendance secretary sometime throughout the morning. Early dismissal notes will not be accepted after the fact. Study hall attendance. Use your study hall time wisely. You have an opportunity to use this time to organize your schoolwork. There are specific procedures for students wanting to be excused from a study hall or any class. You must have a pass from a teacher you wish to see to be permitted to leave a study hall or any class. Student identification numbers. Memorize your student ID number. Your student ID number will be required on all early dismissal notes, travel and vacation requests, excuses for absences and tardiness, library usage, and all counseling requests. Searches. Board Policy number 3590. Searches of students, student lockers, and student vehicles. School officials may conduct a reasonable search of a student and his or her personal belongings if it is determined that the student may have some type of contraband. Since the school owns the lockers and the parking lot, students should not expect privacy regarding items placed in their lockers or in their vehicles, as random searches of lockers and of the student parking lot may be conducted by school officials and law enforcement officers.
I would now like to talk about a couple of very serious policy violations that could result in maximum penalties. The district weapons policy. Possession, conveyance, use, or storage of weapons or a weapon look-alike by students, a school employee, or visitor on school property, school-sponsored activities, or on or in the vicinity of any school vehicle is strictly prohibited. Any violation of this policy will result in an out-of-school suspension, will be turned over to the police, and could result in an expulsion from school. This also includes any weapon or look-alike weapon found during a search of a student's vehicle. Drug and alcohol violations. Any violation of the North Allegheny drug and alcohol policy by a NASH student will result in the following without exception: a 10-day out-of-school suspension, social probation, mandatory drug and alcohol assessment, loss of parking driving privileges, and possible expulsion depending on the circumstances.
Many of the policies and procedures we've reviewed the past few days center around the common theme of respect. Respect comes in a variety of ways: respecting yourself, others, learning, school property, and safety. We spoke about respecting yourself. Respecting yourself has a lot to do with how you present yourself, how you dress, those you associate with, the language that you use, and how you present yourself in general. Be very conscientious of what you put into your body every morning, eating a good breakfast, being healthy, exercising. These are the types of things that lend themselves useful to respecting yourself. Respect others. North Allegheny Senior High School has a rich, diverse culture and backgrounds. Learn from others. Take advantage of people who are different from you. Learn to network with others and strive to be a better person. Respect learning. Approach each day with a positive attitude. Do your best work. Avoid cheating. Avoid academic dishonesty. Do the types of things that are going to prepare yourself for a better future. Respecting school property. We spoke much about computer usage. During the opening weeks of school, you will have the opportunity to receive many textbooks, have access to computers, iPads, a host of technology. Respecting school property has to do with respecting those devices and returning them in the same manner that they were issued to you. Respecting our stairwells, our hallways, our cafeteria. We have a lot of pride at Nash. We're very fortunate to have such a terrific facility. And with that, in a large organization with over 1,400 students, 115 staff members, respecting safety is very important. We want to ensure that all students have access to curriculum in a safe and friendly environment. Be respectful of safety. Follow these policies, and I am confident that each student here at North Allegheny Senior High School will have a great school year. Again, welcome to the 2015-2016 school year. Have a great year.
From all of us
to all of you,
Have a terrific school year.